Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 32 of the Locker Room Life podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Frank, with my boys as usual, Owen Baker, Logan Kuvo. Boys, big week ahead. Big things are happening. What's going on in life? Then we'll dive into the hockey.
Fellas, good to see you. Split this weekend, so we're hoping to bounce back. We play the number one seed on the road, and my birthday's coming up this next week, so I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, just school, hockey, the grind is real. Good to be back.
Boys, I'm in the Dominican Republic right now. Ladies and gentlemen, here for a pitch competition. Things are good. It's definitely a busy season right now for everything company. And heading back to school has been a feat. We're taking off 2 weeks for company travel these next few weeks. So it's nuts, but it's exciting.
I feel like complaining about the cold right now here in Arizona at 70 degrees is a little bit, not warranted, especially when my boys are in colder weather. Bakes, we were just talking about it in 0 degrees right now. But I can't believe it, zipping right through January. February is going to fly right by, and then we're right into March. So we're in the fast track. We got an exciting event that we're going to be attending this week, this Thursday. We're heading over to Pittsburgh, PA for the Working in Hockey event. Nick Bowen's our boy. Really excited to mix it up, just be able to network, get with a lot of people, then working in hockey family, but just be able to really talk to some great people in the industry, enjoy a great hockey game, and of course, be with my boy Logan Kuvo. Owen, we wish you were coming too, bud. But no, it'll be super fun.
I'm pumped.
We're also going to parlay that into a fun little weekend going to the outdoor game, Penn State, Michigan State. So it's going to be a fun little weekend. We're going to have a lot of content to be shown for the boys. There's an announcement on the horizon. We're not going to tell you just yet. Just know there's something cooking, some good things for the boys here at the Locker Room Life podcast.
Fellas, as you know, a lot of things are happening in hockey, and it's great to see, but I think something pretty notable happened this past Tuesday, and it was Craig Berube got into an accident in the gym. He kind of addressed it in the media, and guys, he looked rough. Like, obviously, glad he's okay, but what could have possibly happened in that gym?
Dude, of course, Craig Berube, legend. I hope you're doing okay. You're a badass, so it's like, it didn't even faze him. He showed up with a U-shaped scar on his head. Like his scalp was coming off. Like, I don't know what he could. I've been seeing so many memes of Bakes. I don't know, Frank, if you've ever seen this guy, but there used to be this guy. He used to go on a hoverboard to do like squats when like hoverboards were big, and like this was what Craig Berube was doing in the gym. I'm like, come on. But of course, I mean, I wouldn't even say prayers for a speedy recovery because he seems pretty recovered. He's a badass, like I said. Just crazy.
It's one of those injuries where in the moment he probably was at the facility, trying to play it off. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And then he finally turns to somebody and they're like, yeah, it was really probably horrible. There's probably some skin like flapping out. It definitely, we saw the kind of tightened up version of it, but could you imagine there was probably some gore there. There's probably some people that were bent over like, whoa, this is bad. But I mean, Chief, everyone's leaving it out there, even the coaches in the facility. So, he's using that as ammo for the boys, being like, look, I'm leaving it all out here for you. So, but no, it was just, I know you try to play it off, but come on, be careful out there.
Please.
They're actually on a 2-game losing streak since the incident, so hopefully they can figure that out. But
that was a shot from the dark. Top rope. That was the top rope for Bates.
I'm a Wings fan, man. Another cool kind of story I wanted to bring to light. It's kind of happened before. This kid named Grant Newhart, who got called up from Michigan's ACHA team to be with the Division I team, probably due to an injury related to another goalie. But what a really cool opportunity for this kid. And we've seen it where that one kid, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he was on Arizona State's ACHA team, lit it up, and he actually scored in a Division I game. And it's just really cool for these guys to be able to get like an opportunity like this. And what do you guys think this could kind of segue into?
It's very interesting. Of course, congrats. It's awesome to be able to do that. It's just interesting just because with, the CHL ruling, everyone kind of being opened up to do whatever they want. And, they're still taking an ACHA guy. So it speaks levels to his talent. So it's crazy to see the growth of the ACHA and how the NCAA is making decisions going forward.
The ultimate debate we always talk about on here, right, guys? The whole Division III versus ACHA conversation. We hear it circulating around the hockey world. And I feel like it's just going to continuously be a conversation. All right, we got to go around the room. If you were, I mean, Bakes is still playing Division 1 college right now, but Kuvo, Division 3 versus ACHA, okay? Division 3 option to play in butt cold New York, upstate Buffalo, if there is an upstate Buffalo, but that versus sixth school in Florida, sixth school in Texas, sixth school in Georgia, anywhere. What are you taking, honestly?
You know, Frankie, for me personally, I did make that decision. It was either stick it out, grind it out in the dirty DC, maybe get called up to the NAL or something of that nature. And then, you know, trajectory was probably D3 at that point. So I decided to go to the ACHA and ended up not playing for West Virginia just because of the company. But it's a changing thing. And as, you know, the bottleneck gets tighter for these players who aren't top of the line, not coming from the CHL and the USHL, just gets so tight. To make that decision to advance your life is also part of it too, because when you're an NCAA, even at Division 3, they're going, like they are going, and you are a college athlete. My sister plays Division 2 girls lacrosse, and she lifts every morning at 5 a.m. Being NCAA, it's a completely different thing, and that's why some people are pushed to want to be an NCAA athlete either way you look at it. So it's just interesting. It's just, you know, what does everyone's definition of success look like?
But if you think about it also, guys, what is the end goal, right? I think that's at the end of it. What is it? Is it to compete for a national championship? Is it to play meaningful hockey? That is different for everybody. Everybody's gauge of success, what their hockey career and how it ends is different for everybody, right? It's different for all three of us. But I do think that there's something to be said, the tightening of the funnel, limited spaces at the higher level, college hockey being top of the top, NIL deals. There's going to be a lot of players, and we've already seen it at the Division 1 level of ACHA. I mean, a lot of those guys are NAL guys. A lot of those guys are high-level junior guys that just said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to play some fun hockey, get a chance to win a national championship, be part of an amazing school, have a great college experience, get my education, and continue on with life. But again, it's an ongoing conversation because what is really your gauge of success from your hockey career, right? If a Division 3 opportunity is to say that you played NCAA hockey, that's the person's gauge of their success. And to each his own. I think it's just, again, it's a circulating conversation just to talk about. And I think it's just, we like options for players to continuously play hockey and take those lessons that we've learned through the game and kind of take that into the next phase of life.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to talk about this topic. My favorite movie, hockey movie, or maybe movie ever made. Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, OG Youngblood. Frank, when did that come out? What was the year? OG.
That's 80s. Talking about BC times.
Yeah.
For you guys, that's BC times.
Correct.
AKA my childhood.
I love that movie. I've always been obsessed with that movie. I actually changed my tape job to be Dean Youngblood when I was a little kid. But on that topic, a reboot is coming out. I got to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm very excited to see it. It's just, you know, it's just the growth of the game. And I'm glad that they're putting love back into a movie that was so loved by the hockey community for so many years. And it's just awesome. Let me know what you think.
Funny enough, I actually think the first time I saw that movie, I was with you, Logan, at your house, and you, Chad, and you're like, have you ever seen Dean Youngblood? And I'm like, no, I have not. And you guys were like actually genuinely pissed off. But I was so glad to have seen it because obviously, like you said, it's an absolute classic and great movie. And with this movie being released, there's only like a handful of real like hockey kind of driven movies. So it's just cool to see that it's something new that's coming out, and I'm excited. I'm definitely going to watch it.
Boys, we can't skim over the fact that Keanu Reeves, John Wick himself, was the goaltender in Youngblood. So it just tells you amazing careers were started on hockey movies. But this is just, it's my childhood. This movie, okay, the wooden Titan sticks, you know, the no stunt. There's no stunt guys in that movie, okay? This is all authentic hockey clips, okay? Yes, did some of the clips have him shooting both ways, left and right? I'm not. That just shows you how ambidextrous Dean Youngblood was, all right? So it just builds to the legend of how amazing it was. We talked about it. Is Racky, who's going to be the new Racky that's going to be in this one? I can't wait to see it, but in all honesty, guys, reboots are obviously, you're walking down some pretty, a little bit of like some territory where like you want to play it right, but looking at the trailer, it's really cool. They took a really cool angle with it. They updated the storyline, which essentially is huge in a reboot. I'd be concerned if they took that same story and kind of put it in the reboot, but modernized the storyline, put some amazing characters, put a little more spice on it. As you guys can see on the trailer, just get your popcorn ready. So I'm strapped in. I can't wait. But it looks like a really cool reboot. Also, the director is more of an independent director as well as the actor. So just being able to feed right into a really cool, more authentic movie, I think it's going to be something that the hockey world needs. The hockey world needs really good, authentic movies that people can relate to. And I think, again, generationally, it's fathers will be watching it with their sons, which I think is going to be a really cool moment. And yeah, can't wait till it comes out. Guys, wanted to talk about is everyone's been hearing Linus Ullmark, goaltender for the Ottawa Senators, recently took a leave of absence from the team. That wasn't even the headline of the story, which is crazy because that should have been the headline of the story. The player stepping away from the game to take care of his own mental health and taking care of himself, but it wasn't. I think the story spurred off into a media storm about these allegations of the team atmosphere of the Ottawa Senators that got completely blown out of proportion. We're not going to say that we know the story at all. We just wanted to talk about it from the sense of how media, and we live in a clickbait society. Whether we want to admit it or not, we do. First to the story, first to the clicks. That is essentially what everybody is working towards. What I feel is unfortunate is that this player, and hearing his point of view, because it took him a little bit of a time to kind of step back and actually have a sit down about it, but to hear how his mental health was truly something that needed to be addressed and the depths that it needed to be addressed, that he had to step away from a game that he loves and his profession to take care of. And that's so sacred within itself. But then to have the media storm behind it when he's trying to deal with something that's very personal for him, to hear that there was allegations of him making against his own teammates. And we know how hockey is. If there's one sport, and we're biased, hockey is a brotherhood. It's a community. And within that locker room, it is your family. I think the NHL has done an amazing job of giving players an assistance program. It's something that generationally, there's a lot of players that could have used it down the way. There was a lot of players in the 80s that battled alcoholism, and it's unfortunate. They're no longer here. And to see how the NHL has stepped up, created a program where everybody can be able to be human. You know, we saw it earlier this season with Brandon Montour, stepped away, the death of his brother. And now with mental health, where the pressures of being a professional athlete, you have to have time to step away and for you to be okay. I feel like we are media, and we're talking about it because we're media. We try not to wear that hat because we're players, right? But we are media, and we live in the era of media. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this because it's a very sacred subject. In saying that you're not okay is a big thing, especially for us hockey players, professional athletes. But I think hockey players are very prideful people more than any other sport. I feel like we grind through a lot of things that a lot of people will kind of fold in on. And I take pride in that. I take pride in the fact that hockey taught me that in my life. For him to step away and for this to turn into a complete storm, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it.
You know, there's a few points that you said in there, Frank, that were great. Like the clickbait society, it's everything. Every headline you see when you open Instagram or Facebook in the morning is some form of clickbait to get you to look at it. Anything we post on our company brands, it's not like bad clickbait, but it's, you know, what you're trying to get people's attention. Just to preface, I know all of you know this and you wouldn't listen to us, but like our mission, like, of course we want to be first to the punch on a story and do all of these things, but stuff like that, there's no room for it, especially when they're professional athletes. They already have so much on their back. And, you know, to start that for, like I said, I'm not going to say I know it, like Frank said, we don't know everything. To do that just for clicks, to, you know, really mess up a man's mental and, you know, stuff with his family, it's definitely very interesting. But as an athlete, everything in entrepreneurship, and Frank, I know you know this to a T, it's the same thing. It's very taboo, you may say, to especially older generations, to say you're not okay, to say hey, I'm not doing good, I need to step away. You know, I'm really glad that it's been something that's been noticed a lot more, because when I was a player, like, I didn't care about that. It didn't even cross my mind. And when I look back, it was definitely all types of everywhere. But I'm glad it's becoming more prevalent, and really just want to see players perform at their highest level, like we all do. So we're all fans. We're media, but we're still fans, and that's why it draws us to this.
Yeah, obviously it sucks to see, and I hope he can find peace and find his game again. But, you know, it's one of those things where the media. It's kind of why these players, you see time after time, it's hard for them to open up. They're literally human beings just like us. And a lot of times they do take these beatings from the media and everything, and they want to win just as much as all these fans. And I don't think they realize how much they're truly committed to that organization and that team, and their lifestyle's not easy. So you just hate to see it. But I mean, I hope he can get better. And yeah.
You know, like we're all built, right, guys? Is any high level athlete, the pressure that you put on yourself far exceeds any pressure that anybody could ever put on you. I mean, I'm built that way. Logan, I know you're built that way. Owen, I know you're built that way. The things in our own mind, the things we feel on ourselves, we're our harshest critics. But it's also kind of a give and take of a successful person, right? Because you have to be very self-critical to be successful, because you have to know what it takes, the sacrifice to be successful. But also, I'm just happy that there's a lot of great tools out there. Again, somebody that's very close to our family, Dr. Alicia Nazar. She is an amazing tool to help players navigate through this. I've said it time and time again. I wish I had it. I was somebody that was very in my own head, and I wish that I had a guiding light to just say, you know what? It's okay to be normal. It's okay that some days you suck and some days you're on. But it's just the mental side of a game, and I can only imagine amplified into a market, these hockey markets and a professional market where you live under a microscope and it's everything. You open your whole life, and I guess quote unquote like celebrity, yeah, but does it come with the territory? Yes, it does. But I think there's also humanism that has to be played into us as well. And I feel like let's just make sure that we're showing these players the compassion that we do with anybody else, because everybody is dealing with something that you have no idea that they're dealing with. So, Lena Solmark, I applaud you for stepping away. Can't wish you been anything but the best in coming back. And I know that you're going to be just as good when you come back. Super excited for this week's interview. We got Cole Kodsi, current Orlando Solar Bears hockey player, but also co-founder, CEO of SOFLO Hockey. As you guys know, SOFLO Hockey, it's kind of the epitome of an amazing cultic hockey community. And I love it. The minute that I saw it, I fell in love with it. Just to see a couple amazing guys building back into the community they grew up in and building around the amazing players in their community, and just continuously having this amazing league where they can play together, build a lifestyle. I love it.
Cole's awesome. He's a creative at heart, and that's what he's done with SOFLO. And it's been so cool to see that creative touch shine through with these hockey players and doing fun things and coming into the rink in flip flops. And it's awesome. And it's a summer league that's trying to change the summer leagues for these players. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's super unique to be able to give back, and coming from a guy who plays in a summer league every year. For these players, I can't be more appreciative to be able to get, even if it's just 3-on-3 or whatever it may be, to be able to get that feel in the summertime. These guys love it, and it's already blossomed so much since they founded it, and there's so much talent. It's just, I love to keep up with it. It's awesome.
But the best thing about it is Cole is the definition of the modern day entrepreneur, right? He's a player, but he's also building a business, building a brand. And it's something that it's tough. It's tough. And we talk about it in the interview. He's pulling a schedule in the East Coast Hockey League, and they're playing a lot of games in a consolidated amount of time, but he's still being able to find time to build SOFLO, be able to build a new, unique mindset, and being able to recreate the way that hockey itself is being viewed, especially in his own community, but also just overview-wise going forward. So Cole's awesome. We can't wait for you guys to hear it. And more importantly, we, as our brands, Logan and I, have some really exciting stuff that's cooking with SOFLO. So Cole Kodsi, hope you guys enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of the Locker Room Life podcast. Honored to be joined by a current player for the Orlando Solar Bears, but also a CEO, entrepreneur, co-founder, and CEO of SOFLO Hockey. Cole Kodsi, brother, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Super excited for this one.
So Cole, every time we have an interview, the biggest thing that we always start with is this amazing game of hockey. You've had an amazing path, an amazing career thus far. rewind it a little bit and take us back to the time when you fell in love with this amazing game in hockey.
Yeah, so I mean, I started playing very early. I was 4 years old, grew up in South Florida. So just playing, I was skating with the mascot, like Stanley C. Panther. And, my parents threw me on the ice. My dad is French Canadian, so he was a big Canadians fan growing up. I watched hockey at an early age, even when I was a toddler, and I started getting into it. As I said, around 4 years old, I got on the ice and didn't look back.
Yeah, man. It's very interesting because we have many different people who are from different hockey markets. Talk about growing up in Florida and playing in Florida. It's a non-traditional hockey market, but has become more traditional over the years with the studs they're putting out.
Yeah, absolutely. Grew up in South Florida. You have the Panthers, right? You have Tampa also. It's not too far away. And when I was growing up, hockey wasn't very big. So it was definitely challenging to get ice. I'm grateful for my family and friends that I grew up with. They were a big part of my hockey journey and career growing up. But you're right, it's a non-traditional hockey market. It was challenging when I was a kid playing hockey in the sense of finding the best programs to play with and juggling and bouncing around teams. I played for the Junior Panthers and the Florida Alliance basically until I was 13, 14 years old because there wasn't opportunity after that for AAA hockey and junior hockey in South Florida. So I had to leave at a young age, around 14, to get better opportunity and better traction up north. I moved to the Massachusetts area and then eventually the New Jersey area where I played AAA hockey there. And then obviously that led me to playing junior hockey and college and pro and et cetera. But hockey wasn't very big when I was growing up in South Florida. So
Yeah, on that point too, you've seen the emergence of hockey in Florida as a whole. And I mean, even in the past 10 years, the acceleration of that based on championships just being won in the state of Florida. But early influences, when you were playing, like who were those early influences?
yeah, I think it's my dad for sure, being a French Canadian and he played hockey as a kid. He loved the game and kind of instilled that into me right away. But we have such a good culture and good group of players, even though it wasn't many players that grew up in South Florida. You have players like Brandon Duhaime, who now plays for the Washington Capitals, and you have Andrew Peak for the Boston Bruins. You have a lot of these players that were older than me. So, a lot of me and a lot of my friends at my age, we would kind of look up to these guys as they climbed the ladder. So what they were doing, we were essentially doing. They were going to prep school or they were going to play AAA or juniors. We were kind of following them because we were beginning to train with them in the summers and see what they were doing. So they kind of set the path, which was awesome for us.
Just those guys you listed are absolute studs. And where did you play when you were in Mass and New Jersey?
So I did prep school when I was in 9th grade at Northfield Mount Herman. I did that for a year. That was in Mass. And then I played for the North Jersey Avalanche for 2 years, basically like U16, U18. And then junior in the USHL, which Frank, I know you're a big USHL guy, but I played in Omaha for 2 years. So,
and that's going to lead into that next question I have. It's talk about that transition from youth into juniors and how juniors was in the USHL.
Juniors was great. I think junior hockey is a great time for young hockey players to kind of mature and learn a lot about life. You learn how to do laundry, how to cook. You learn these little life skills that teach you how to become a man and how to grow up. So I think in that case, it was incredible. I also had a great coach that taught me how to play the right way and find my role and my identity. So I loved my time in Omaha. It was great.
And I know you had the honor of playing for a couple different teams in the USHL as well. So kind of talk about the transition between a couple different teams, kind of how that path laid out for you and kind of the decisions that you made, going to some different teams.
Primarily, I was in Omaha. I had a cup of coffee in Madison and in Chicago. Those were both, I want to say I was probably in both those places for a month. I don't remember too much time at those places. Omaha really was my main junior hockey team and development spot, and it shaped me the most, I would say. But I will say it's when you got to pack your bags up and you get traded or you get dropped or something happens at that age, it's also a form of adversity. And it's something that you learn as a young player, as a young kid, and it's good. It's very good in the long term for hockey players and, young men.
You touched on so many good points, just moving away from your family and learning to fend for yourself, because it's a all too familiar situation for hockey players at very young ages. Obviously on the rink, adjusting to the pace of the game and et cetera. But how was it adjusting to the flip of being away and having to do this on your own as a human more than anything?
It was tough. I adjusted quickly because you have to. You're with billet family members that help you. You're with teammates that help you, coaches, staff. So I think as long as you're in the right place, you have the right support. It was definitely challenging though, but I think you get used to it and you adjust it and you learn to love it.
And that's a great point. I think the parlay into that also is we talk about mental strength of the player, right? It's the make or break of a player's everything, every day, the psyche, the grind on all levels, just being able to get up every day, put aside the adversity that you're going through, but also just confidence. So talk about you yourself, the ups and downs of confidence as a player and how that was important to you and moving through those obstacles that were out there, but you just kind of continued on with your path.
The game of hockey it's an obstacle course, right? I mean, you guys know it. You guys are both players. Starting in junior hockey, that's the biggest adversity hit, because all of a sudden you're the best player in your team growing up. Then you go to the USHL and you're put on the fourth line and you're scratched. Then you're like, you have no idea what that even feels like. You're not used to it. So then, that's the first part of it. You continue and you go to college and it's the same thing in college, and pro, it's the same thing. But I guess for me personally, I've battled a lot of injuries, and that happened a lot in college. There were a ton of ebbs and flows of being in the lineup, not being in the lineup, going into the transfer portal and finding different places that I fit in school. It shaped me. I think it shapes all hockey players, but the combo of junior hockey and college hockey, it's a very, very prevalent representation of who I am as a hockey player and a person.
That's such a good point. It's all we know as athletes is to just keep going, put your head down and keep going. And it can be really good in situations, but it can also, bite you in the ass once in a while too. You mentioned college, and I'd love to know just about, your experience being at different colleges and your decisions behind those and kind of what pushed you to make the right decision and why it was a good fit for you.
Yeah, for sure. So I started at Bentley. It's funny because I actually used to be committed to Michigan State. This was back when I was 16, 17. I committed there really young, and coaching change, it was kind of a shit show a little bit, but I was at Bentley, committed to Bentley, figured it would be a program. It was an up and coming program at the time. I was going to play right away. I got a great scholarship for it and opportunity for me to kind of come in, as I said, play right away, help build the program. It's right in Boston. It's a great business school. So that was very appealing to me. I was there for 3 years, had a great time there, did well, was the captain my junior year. And then I decided to leave to go to Union for my senior year, which was a decision just based on me wanting more, me wanting to go to a better conference and play for a better team ultimately. That year I got hurt, faced a lot of adversity, was kind of in and out of the lineup. And then the following year, I decided to take my fifth year, which would have been last year. That was at Canisius in Buffalo. My fifth year, my COVID year, had a great experience there. And that was kind of the path. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of different schools, kind of the nature of the transfer portal these days, but they were all definitely interesting and memorable experiences. Each place had its own, spin on it.
That's such a great point. What we also hone in on is the change and acceleration at every step of your life, right? You move from youth to juniors, and then that huge jump from juniors to college. I want you to let our audience know a little bit of the grind of a college hockey player, because a lot of people think about it. They think they know about it. They think college, yada, 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 but you played in it. You were in it. Go through the day-to-day grind, and essentially day in, day out, it's a battle. So we really like to share that knowledge with the audience and love to hear from you on that.
You're definitely right, Frank. It's an absolute battle. And building off of junior hockey, now all of a sudden you're thrown into the fire where you got class and you got 4 or 5 classes a day. You're, potentially not doing school for a few years because you're playing juniors, right? So you have to wake up and remember that you got to go to class at 7, 8 in the morning, and you got homework to do. You got to work out throughout the course of the week, train and prepare your body like a pro so that you can perform on the weekends. And I would say that's really the routine right there is you're going to school, you're going to class, you're getting your workouts in throughout the course of the week. There's not a ton of time for, socialization and, bullshit during the week. Everyone has their fun in college. I had my fun in college for sure. I would say it happened mostly on the weekends, like after we played. But again, you're going to class, you're grinding in the gym, you're getting your practice in during the week, and then you're playing usually Friday, Saturday. So that's kind of the way it would flow. It was pretty similar every week in college hockey.
It's so crazy. Our like I was telling you earlier, our other co-host, he plays for Michigan Tech right now, and just going through it there, a red-eye flight back up for class in the morning at 8 a.m. It's definitely not for the weak. And I think it transitions perfectly into you being a professional hockey player, signing in the ECHL. How, congratulations. Of course, it's the goal. It's the pinnacle of every hockey player's dream is to play professional hockey. Just talk about that and that experience.
Yeah, that was really cool. It happened fast. And going back to adversity, there was a point last year when I was at Canisius, I was hurt my senior year at Union. And then last year I broke my wrist 5 or 6 games in. So I was out for a month and a half. I didn't really know if I was going to be able to play after, right? Because you only play 30 to 35 games in the college season, and you only have a certain window to have production play well and prove yourself to scouts. So I ended up having a really good second half of the year, clicked with some incredible line mates that are some of my best friends till today. And yeah, I signed. Everything happened quickly. I signed on the bus actually with my line mate in Orlando right after our playoff game against Bentley. So full circle moment, even more full circle because Orlando is a little over 2 hours away from home for me. So like I was away from home for the last 10 to 12 years, and it's cool. Now I'm playing in Orlando. It's an incredible organization. It's a great city, and I'm close to home. So, my family and friends get to come to the games, and that's a really special part about it. It's been awesome.
That's so amazing, especially like we said, there comes a time in the hockey career, the dream, right? And the dream is always continue this journey as long as we can, play as long as we can. For you to be playing pro, it's playing a child's game, having fun playing a child's game, continuing. And I love that. The biggest thing, and we've had a lot of guys that are playing minor pro now and pro, is the adjustment of pro hockey versus college. And there's a lot of things that you can talk about because the guys are talking about it's just a different mindset because it is the full-fledged awareness that it is a business, right? Every day, everybody is teammates, but everybody's competing as well because this is a livelihood, this is a job, and maybe you can talk about kind of the differences there.
It's definitely different, and you learn more and more as the weeks and months go by. For starters, this month alone, we have 16 games, and we just came off of a road trip, 3-3s, back-to-back weeks, coming back from South Carolina and different places. Then we're playing back at home, and tomorrow we're back on the road. We got 4 games in 6 days this week. So it's a lot of hockey, and the pro style is different from the college style. In many ways, I think it's bigger, it's more physical. There's more men, right? So you don't have 18, 19, 20-year-olds playing. It's guys that are 30 years old, 35 years old. So even from just a general strength and physicality component, you have more of a heavier game and physical game, which it actually for me fits my game really well, but it's fun. Like pro hockey is really fun. A lot of games, different college. You're not playing Saturday, Sunday. You got games on Monday. You got games on Wednesday. It's very role oriented, right? You typically have a lot of your top 6 or top 9 players that are heavy production players. And then you have guys on your 4th line, sometimes your 3rd line that are more grinders and getting into fights, kind of more my style, but it's very role oriented, right? So it's cool. It's fun. And it's been exciting for sure so far.
I just want to ask something about, you said a great thing on the ice that, you're playing against men, you're playing against 30, 35-year-old guys who have families, wives, kids, house mortgage, everything. We talked to Scooter Bricky friend of the podcast. He plays for Wilkes-Barre, and he's like a completely different level of respect that you have for your teammates, but also that compete in that battle because it's a job, it's a business, and you're really going after it every single day, and it's everyone's livelihood. So kind of talking about that, and it's so much different than, just being on a team with your college buddies and all having fun going to classes. It's a night and day difference.
It definitely is a difference. It's a great point, right? You have guys that have a wife and they have kids and they're trying to put food on their table, right? You're not playing video games with your 18, 19-year-old buddies. At least I'm not. Like I was in college. It's just a different kind of animal, and it's different because you're showing up to the rink, and I am one of the younger guys. I'm a rookie here, so this is new for me, but like you said, it's a job and everyone has different roles, and you can be in the lineup, out of the lineup. You could be cut any day, traded any day. So it's very different from college.
Cole, I need to know every day, that grueling schedule, the physicality, the fatigue is setting in, that many games in a row. How do you stay present within just what needs to be done? Because it is a grueling schedule. So I need to know, how do you navigate through that? There's a lot of strengths there. There's mental strength, there's physical strength, and it's really just, it's adversity within itself.
It's hard. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely hard, but finding ways. You talk about a battery, right? And in college hockey, you train so hard, and it's really just hockey and training and school. But I think in pro, it's kind of important to kind of maintain your battery, right? And there are going to be days where you just can't go to the rink or you can't train because you're tired. You just got back from a long bus trip, right? So it's important to do other things. Maybe for us, we're in South Florida, you play golf, you play pickleball, you get coffee or lunch with teammates. It's important to balance everything, I think. And that's something I've enjoyed about pro, is being able to be well-rounded. Obviously, I have SOFLO and I have other things I'm doing off the ice, so that kind of occupies my mind as well. Listen, the training is different in pro. You can't lift 3-4 times a week. I love lifting weights and working out, but you can't do it when you're playing 4 or 5 times a week. So you have to find ways to maintain your body, your mind. I try to do breath work. I try to meditate. I'm getting more into the spiritual part of life, which I think has helped me a lot. My girlfriend is awesome, so she helps me with a lot of stuff. And yeah, you just have to find ways to really maintain your mind, your body, your spirit, your emotions. And I'm still trying to figure that out. It's been good so far. So,
brother, aren't we all? We're all still trying to figure it out. I think it's a perfect parlay into what you've been able to do off the ice as an entrepreneur, as a founder, and being something more, and balancing that between pro hockey and all these things. How did SOFLO Hockey come to life?
That's the big question, huh? The question of the day. It started about 5 years ago. It was me and my 3 close friends, Timmy Kent, Nico Blatchman, Mark Cherimetta, both 3 incredible people. We're all around the same age, and we were all, the better players in South Florida growing up. We were all kind of entering college hockey sort of around that junior hockey, early college hockey phase. And we just wanted a more competitive environment and a place where we can get on the ice with the best players and push ourselves and have, those competitive juices in the summer. We're all gamers. We all love to play the game. Different in pro, but now growing up, we always loved playing in the summers, and we didn't like taking much time off. Originally, we found this rink, and it's a small sheet of ice. We drafted teams. We started with 4 teams. We kind of all decided we would manage our own team. It started with friends and kind of local guys, and it's built up to every year we add more players. We add NHL players, we add better college players, pros. We now have a junior league too, so those guys are developing. But yeah, it's turned into something special for sure. Our guys that you talk about, Brandon Duhame, Andrew Peak, Steven Camphor, a lot of the older pro guys than us, they helped us set table and set the foundation early on. They helped us recruit guys like Ryan Lomberg and Nikita Zadorov and Seth Jones and all these great players we've gotten. Once they came along, we started to get some traction. And yeah, it's been great so far. It's turned into more of a business, which has been fun. It's turned more into obviously a really competitive league and a fun culture, but also a lifestyle brand, a media brand, and we have some really exciting plans.
The best thing about SOFLO is the embodiment of community, right? We talk about it all the time, especially as players, especially this hockey community. It's a tight knit community. And for you to start something, especially in a state that you grew up in, I think it's a full circle moment within itself. And I commend you for it because you never forgot your roots and you love your community, and being able to, the ultimate dream is to build and give back to the community. And I think that that's what SOFLO kind of embodies. It is a lifestyle. It's a lot of different things. And I feel like that's when you have an accomplishment of a successful business where you look at it and the only thing that you can really see from it is the embodiment of community. Yes, there's NHL players, but I think more importantly, man, it looks so fun. And being able to get to the kid and all of us, getting everybody together in the summer, having some fun skates, but just laughing and everything that makes hockey amazing, you've kind of embodied. And I love it. And we all know that there's an amazing, amazing coordination between a lot of the brands that we own as well. And that's why it's not easy. It isn't easy. We all want to do something in hockey because it's given us so much. But I want you to talk about, what does SOFLO mean to you? Bigger plans. What is your big plan for SOFLO?
Yeah, I quickly touching on that, Frank. It's fun, right? And that's what SOFLO is. It's culture, it's community, it's creation, right? Like, these high-end players enjoy coming to SOFLO in the summer because you don't have coaches bitching at you or management bitching at you. You don't have all this chaotic 72, 82 game season where you're on the road and there's so much schedule and structure. Guys get to come to the rink in their sandals after playing golf or going to the beach, and they get to come and play with their buddies that they grew up with. They get to do it in a fun environment, in a creative environment. They get to try stuff. We work with tons of brands, and we're getting more into events and brands and businesses. And we give our guys the opportunity to try new things and work with great brands and great people, right? Like both of you guys, right? So it's fun, and it's a different change of pace that guys get in the summertime as opposed to what they have in the winter and during their season. So it's great. Long-term plans, there's a lot to it. I think that the best thing is I'm building something that's going to give athletes a different path. And I want to give back to the hockey community. I think that, you have this traditional system in hockey and it's great, but I think SOFLO is an opportunity, like I said, for guys to come play, and it doesn't really matter. We have junior players, we have college players, pros, ex-pros, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the game of hockey, and I want to be an environment where guys can just kind of let go and have fun, but still do it at the professional level, right? So you get a blend of everything, and we have exciting plans moving forward. I don't want to leak my plans too much. I think that it's a place where guys can do that, and more cities, more events, continuing to build the culture, continuing to build the brand itself. That's also part of the plan as well.
I've seen SOFLO since its inception. And something I want to ask selfishly, it's a little off topic, but something that stands out to me every single time I see a SOFLO reel, a SOFLO post, is your guys' marketing, bro. Your marketing, drop a little knowledge to our audience, anyone out there. Your marketing is phenomenal. I mean, I can't stress that enough. Anyone out there, check out SOFLO. It's what you need to do to get the amount of followers and traction that you need. But I just want to see into your mind. Where does that come from, and where does it stem from?
We've been fortunate. We've worked with great creators and media teams. It's funny because marketing is kind of that's like a fun thing for me that I've gotten into because, I'm a big UFC guy. I love seeing what the UFC does, how they market it. And I'm not comparing SOFLO to the UFC, but I think that the UFC, Dana White is kind of my mentor. He's a guy I like listening to, and I love UFC because I just love watching the fights. Yeah, the fights are great. And, you look at a guy like Jake Paul as well. Like, this guy's done an incredible job marketing his own brand, his business, his product. So for me, marketing is everything. I think the better marketing that we can have and the better media, the more we're going to sell, the better players we're going to get, the better product we're going to get, the more revenue we're going to generate. That's a big thing for me. I love it. I'm still trying to figure out what works and doesn't work. I think people from the outside looking in, I appreciate that's a compliment. compliment, my guys will be fired up to hear that. But we're still trying to figure it out. And we have exciting, cool plans. The marketing stems from the story. I think that the more authentic we can be, and the more that we can tell our story and resonate with people in the hockey world and in the sports world, I think that's kind of where the marketing lies for us. And we're trying to get more into that. I know me personally, I'm trying to build my personal brand as kind of the one that's backing this all and the head guy, but everyone's trying to build their personal brands. We're trying to grow the SOFLO brand. We're trying to collaborate with more brands. Obviously, we want to leverage the NHL players and the incredible players that we have. But yeah, the marketing part is huge, and it's something we're going to continue to utilize.
I want you to talk about the power of collaboration. We were kind of chatting about this in the pre-interview. I think the best thing about us as a hockey community is being able to come together and collaborate together, especially with the building of SOFLO. I know that you do a lot of exciting partnerships and kind of talk about the importance of partnering with the people in this community.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I was talking to Logan earlier today, and one of the biggest phrases or slogans, whatever you want to call it, I've kind of been abiding by in the last year or so is collaboration rises at the top. When you're collaborating with people, you tend to find success, you find ideas. Everyone's all about competition and kind of like trying to be the best and stuff, but the way I see it is different. I think the more that you can collaborate with people and build relationships and work with different brands and invite more people and have a brand and a community that continues to multiply and amplify, I think that's kind of a win. So the importance of collaborating is huge. I mean, we love working with brands. We love working with people. And that's why we're getting into, more events. We're building more events, especially like networking events. We work with partners and sponsors, and we have great relationships with those people. So collaborating is huge.
As this parlays into the next part, how does we all have a very rare inside view to hockey, and especially you as a pro hockey player, how does that influence how, the future of SOFLO and how you're building the brand?
The game of hockey has taught me so many things. It's taught me resilience, leadership, creativity, all these things. So if I can give back to the community any way I can and bring these pieces to business and to SOFLO, that's kind of what I'm trying to do, right? You're going to see a shift in the game of hockey. SOFLO is a place where people can be themselves, right? There's a stigma behind hockey and social media and being creative, right? And you guys know this. I'm not a social media person, but I use social media to my advantage because I understand that it might bring me relationships. It might make me money with what I'm doing. It might be good for me in the long term. In the last couple of months, I've probably sent thousands of DMs and connected with people on LinkedIn, and I'm finally starting to get into TikTok and stuff like that. And that's okay, right? Like, people think that people chirp the hockey world, you get chirped for being authentic or posting stuff on TikTok or being creative or whatever the case is. But I think that's a stigma that SOFLO bridges that gap. And I think it's hockey players can be creative. They can find ways to work with brands and be influential on social media. It's a no-brainer, because why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you want to create more opportunity for yourself, make more money, generate more wealth in all areas of life? SOFLO in itself is going to change that in the landscape of hockey for sure.
Beautifully said, bro.
We have the ultimate debate on this podcast about social media, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. But Logan and I, the whole part of social media, the beauty of it, and I think the most exciting part is being able to collaborate, being able to connect, being able to build partnerships, and for everything that it does offer in a positive light. And a lot of people are like, well, yeah, social media, this and that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's like anything, right? You have the positives, you have the negatives. But like you said, using the tools that are there, being able to utilize free tools, where back in the day, free marketing tools weren't at our disposal as they are today. So we're just being smarter businessmen. But also to that point too, is if just being able to reach so many different circles and being able to have a platform like you, it's a lifestyle, and it's something that you're offering. Somebody around the world is seeing it and being able to get into your brand. And I think that's the exciting part. And yes, there is a lot of change that is happening in the hockey world. I think it's an exciting time. Timing is everything. I feel like hockey's ready for it. It wasn't always that way. Hockey players now, especially with your brand, it shows personality. It shows that we are people just like everybody else. We play a sport that we love. Hockey players by nature are very respectful, but I'm glad to see the loosening of the leash a little bit, like being able to let players let loose, have a venue for people to see. These guys are funny. They have personalities, and I love it. That's the beauty of everything that we're living in right now. But the main question I have for you, man, is you're an entrepreneur, you're a pro hockey player. How do you stay divided in this life, because both of them are equally as taxing and demanding on you, your mind, and your body?
It's a great question. And you know what? I'm still trying to juggle that. I'm still trying to balance it. I am a very big calendar person. So, and I also value my time. So the free time that I have, whether I'm on the bus, on the plane, coming back from practice, I use that time to meet and hop on calls, speak with brands, speak with sponsors, talk to my players, kind of save that time for business. And something to be said as well for when you get to the rink, it's your job. So you got to put your phone away and you got to get in the gym and get on the ice and do your job there, right? So I'm trying to balance both. Shout out to Mark Chermetta and Top G Hockey. He's actually showed me some ways on establishing almost this alter ego kind of thing where you have Cole Kodsi, the business guy and the entrepreneur, and then you have Cole Kodsi, the hockey player. And I love being both. And then you have Cole Kodsi as, the family guy. And there's different aspects of everything. So you have to be able to live in these different worlds. Again, I'm still trying to figure that out and crack the code, but it's fun. And it's fun to figure out, just managing my time the right way, finding ways to focus in the specific areas. And yeah.
You provided so much value. Just for anyone listening, like, you can play professional hockey and still be a successful business person. I feel like that's shied away from too often. And, especially I think in the sport of hockey, you see it with big football players, you see it with basketball players, but it's so awesome to see in hockey and especially the sport that we all love. And, I have to ask, what would be advice to first younger you, but these entrepreneurs / hockey players, athletes coming up through this all? You encapsulate so many things. And what's one thing you could tell them all?
Don't be afraid of what people think of you. If you like something, if you have a passion for something, you're into art, if you're into music, if you're into fashion, if you're into business, if you're into anything, you can do that too, right? Because at the end of the day, for a lot of these younger players, and we've talked about the slogan, is if you don't play in the NHL, very transparently, if you're playing the minors or you're playing in Europe, let's say, a lot of people have to get jobs in the summers because you don't make enough money to provide for your family or for whatever the case is, right? So I would say that path is intriguing. Like, there's nothing wrong with you pursuing something and being an entrepreneur or doing something else besides hockey. I mean, you see it in basketball, even with the guys at the top, right? You got the Jokic mindset. This guy is horseback riding. He's playing basketball as a side mission. You look at KD and MJ and the guy in the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, like, all these guys have their own shoe companies and their shoe lines. Many other sports, these guys aren't just athletes, they're entrepreneurs, they're creators as well. Again, I think there's going to be a change in hockey. I think SOFLO is going to bridge that gap. But I also think that, again, for these younger players, there's nothing wrong with thinking outside the box a little bit and getting into some side stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you don't work hard. It doesn't mean that, you're a bad player, that you're not taking your training seriously. I think that there's tons of opportunity, especially with this thing today, and you can use that thing as an advantage to generate wealth for yourself.
That's so well said. The biggest thing, especially with the youth, is, especially during this hockey journey, we all have dreams. We always have these markers of dreams of success. And again, as a hockey player, we all want to play. We all wanted to play pro. But I think it takes an extra step of maturity to really start thinking about life after hockey. And like you said, you can still be successful in what you're doing, but it's always positive for yourself and enrichment for yourself to look at another avenue that you can grow and be able to have a really good opportunity and use the inner circle that you're already embedded in anyway. Why not use those as, and you guys know this, these become our business connections. This becomes our community. Why not use our community to the max potential, opposed to just saying, well, my hockey life, and then once that's over, then now what? I'm hoping that the emergence of social media, that knowledge will be able to pass through and cut through all the BS, but being able to take away what we can actually use and the success stories and the successful people that are doing it on the right way, such as yourself. And you're the embodiment of it, man. And that's why we love to have you on, because you are a true example of a guy that is playing pro hockey, but you're just as smart and you're just as realistic about what is next and why not use this amazing community of hockey and build an amazing business. So I can't thank you enough for coming on, brother.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm super excited for the future. Also with what we got cooking, maybe we will keep that discreet for now, but whoever's listening to this, 3 of us have some really cool stuff coming in the next 6 to 8 months. So definitely stay tuned for that. We have some awesome, exciting stuff coming with both of these guys have really, really cool brands, and we're gonna tap into them. So,
well, I was just going to say that too. I'm very, very excited. And thank you again, bro. Seriously, it's people always get so confused with that plan A and plan B. If you have a plan B, you're not as focused on your plan A. And not everyone's going to be Steve Jobs. You can really be the double-edged sword of an athlete and in what you're doing. So thank you so much, bro. This has been great.
yeah, awesome stuff.
I'm excited, Cole. We know. And like you said, we have exciting things cooking this year. So stay tuned, everyone. Biting my lip right now because I really want to, but we're going to release the information on exciting collaborations that we have. But we're going to keep you on your toes a little bit, guys. So, Cole, I can't thank you enough, brother. I'm excited. I'm excited for the future, and I know we're going to build something together amazing, but you've already done an amazing job. Good luck for the rest of the season. Love you, man. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Of course, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for Cole joining the show. As you guys can see, a lot of amazing things with SOFLO, with his career going forward. See, this guy's still playing at a high level. So it's amazing. I couldn't even do that. There's no way. When I'm talking about the schedule, my legs hurt. Just even talking about the sacrifice that he has playing, building a brand. Super excited, man. Cole, you're the man.
Dude, I don't even think I could have done ACHA when I started this company, and he's literally playing professional hockey. As you can tell, he's, extremely grounded and, where he wants SOFLO to go, and himself as, a business person, a founder. It's just a really insightful episode kind of all around. And it just shows, just another person who had success in hockey. And either way, he came out the other end and he's doing some awesome things, and it's going to be really cool. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate it.
To be able to have the career he's had so far and to be able to get back into this league that he founded, it's awesome to see.
It's what we always wish, guys, right? Is being able to give back to the game that's given us so much, but also never forget where you came from. And I love it. Cole, they have that really cool community, South Florida community, and I love that being able to give back to your community is such a powerful thing. So I love it. Stay tuned. A lot of amazing things coming with our brand. So tune in. Boys, this wouldn't even be possible. Not even allowed, permitted, without the support of our amazing sponsors. Best Damn Tape, Buddy Hockey Club, Bambino Shave Cream, Cut Shield Hockey. This is a capper on another amazing episode. Big week ahead, boys. There's a lot of good content, but as usual, I appreciate you. I love you. There's nothing more than I can say thank you for listening to us every week. Also, don't forget to check out our mugs on YouTube. We're going to put something out there, because if you want to see these mugs on your screen, you're bored at home, you're like, you know what? I'm going to throw on the LRL, boys. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you on the next one.
Love you.
We're buzzing.